So, Om Shri Guruve Namah, Om Shri Vishesha Namah, Om Shri Guruji, Shri Rishi Prabhakara Namah, Om Shri Guru Mata Shri Rama Devi Namah, Om Shri Swayam Namah. I see godliness in everyone. I see divinity in everything. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So everyone is aware of Pradipji, and I have sent you our interview with him, and thereafter my own understanding through Guruji. I have explained, and I have sent you many of his interviews, videos, everything, and lots of you. So I will just start with, in my life, as it's written in the book, nothing will change, but a lot will change, or something will change. So nothing will change, but something will change. It's happened in my life. What has happened, I'm not able to express, but all I can say is, uh, many of us have been with Guruji, and we have learned so many things from Guruji. And everything he has said, somewhere or the other, I could resonate with Pradipji and saying, I will not talk about the story. The story definitely is never heard of in any of our so-called scriptures and all those things. But finally, Pradipji always says that you apply and see now what's the problem. So that application, I'm saying I applied, I continue to apply. And my work, I'm doing the same work I'm doing, what I was doing there now, and continue to do. A lot of things has shifted, the context has shifted. So that's why I am very much, I just love what he speaks, because there's something, you'll hear maybe. Okay. So all I got was whatever at the end, I will explain my own understanding from Guruji's perspective and Pradipji's perspective. Not the story, definitely, but the application in this life. So that is what I received. So we have gathered this. Pradipji, for this crowd, most of them, they are well versed with this thing. They have read, some have read 10%, 20%, 50%, 100%, whatever they have done. But I asked them in that interview, I said, I asked so many questions to you, and then we put the questions to the audience. Today I'll reverse it. We take your, I also have many questions, out of the box questions. But we'll have you to ask the questions first. Okay, so maybe for the hour or so, if you have that very question, we'll take it, and then I will ask my question, which I have listed out. And hopefully it's not repetitive, because I got that. I don't want to get bored repeating the same thing. So since you came at around 7, we had about a half an hour session of their understanding of whatever they have read or heard about your book and talks. So I'll open it to all of you, and we welcome Pradipji to answer whatever question. We'll start with Rita's question. She asked one question, he was answering, and then I said, no, you answer that question here only. So interesting question, beautiful. So be free to ask questions, just like a student. So let us be all students here. You just asking questions, get the answers. Works well for you, beautiful. Doesn't work well for you, beautiful. Whatever it is, we are blessed, or at least I feel I'm honored that he has given us this special time, and it's not of us. Thank you. That's all. You have come here itself was one of my dream, and I thank Hardik to make it happen, and I thank Bhakti. Where is she? Ha, Bhakti, and one more, Vishal.
Vishal. Yes.
Ha. So they are the ones who made it happen. Thank you very much. So Rita, let's hear your question. Come here and stand up and ask. So they will, Rita, and just for your reference, that some of them, she's come from Canada, and we have many people have come from Pune. Can you just raise your hand? They've come all the way only for today's event, and then you know Delhi, and then anywhere else people have come here. And we have our very senior teachers, Jagdish ji and Dilip ji. We three have been with Guruji from day one, I think, 35 years now, more. Darshan is also there with Guruji more than 30 years. So a lot of them have been there, and some are curious, some are distinct. So we start with your question, Rita.
Yeah. So I was asking you the about the watching the movies which are very vulgar or violent, or, where it shows the most heinous part of humanity. And does that affect you? And it probably won't, because you are at a different frequency. But what about laymen, people like me? I would just address myself. I get affected. So what would you say about that?
Whatever you're talking about, the interesting part is that which sources everything about our universe, that being or that individual, is much worse than what you see in the movies. And if we live in the world of such an individual, why would we be, at least for me, because you were surprised, I wasn't that much affected with vulgarity or violence or whatever we call that negativity to be. Because I know firsthand this individual who calls himself the ultimate within our universe. I'm not talking the ultimate outside our universe. But the ultimate within our universe is so horrible, so pathetic, so worst, that I am not surprised as to what he creates through the humans. And basically he uses the humans to exactly do the things that he himself did. And humans cannot do it to the extent that he did, because we do not have his powers, we do not have his reach, we do not have his creativity, and we do not have his way of giving pain to others. So compared to what he does, the worst of the humans, the worst of the activities are pretty lukewarm. But I can say this from what I know. And because I know all these things, and I am just an observer of the worst things happening in life, does that mean that they do not affect me? Yeah, in a way they do affect me. In what way? Like, if there is something that scares me, my heartbeat goes fast. If there is something that is very repulsive, I do get repulsed. If there is something which is very vulgar, it is distasteful. I am not saying it is tasty. But the point is, it doesn't leave an impression which is disturbing in me. It shows up in the moment and subsides a bit later. It doesn't leave with me any thought as to why people do what they do. So this is the difference between me and other people.
Beautiful.
So yes, it doesn't bother you, but a lay person like myself, it bothers me. So I'm asking for the recommendation. Would you recommend that it's okay to watch? Because if when you go in a conversation with somebody and they say, "Oh, it doesn't bother me, I watch it and I forget about it and I don't even think about it the next day," but I feel like it definitely goes somewhere into your system. We are not at the same frequency as you are, sir. Well, so that people like us, it does get into this. So I'm just asking you, would you recommend that it's okay to watch and get so affected, and in some way it outplays? Like, violence in is violence out. It's what my understanding is. Or, anything heinous that we put inside, it comes out somewhere in our behavior and action. Somewhere it comes out. So
the first thing that you asked me whether I would recommend you watching those things, no, I would say don't watch it. The second thing is, each one of us have a different level of sensitivity. And because of the different level of sensitivity, some of us is almost highly disturbed even for days and weeks, and some of us can get over it within a few minutes or an hour. Now you have to understand, it's like if I want to become a weightlifter, now I do not have that kind of physique to be a weightlifter. In the same way, you do not have the emotional strength to watch certain things which are highly let's say, disturbing, and yet remain in a place of tranquility. That being so, you shouldn't do what the friend that you were talking about can do. We all have to live within our limitations. We all have to live within our weakness. We all have to live within our capacity to withstand the pressure of life, forces of life, and the events of life. So we do not copy each other. We do not try to become like each other. We do not try to imitate. And we do not try to prove something to ourselves as to this is how strong I am. On the contrary, I am perfectly okay being very weak, being very vulnerable, being easily disturbed, being not able to withstand any kind of pressure. So that's what I am as a body mind personality. And that being so, I am perfectly okay being that. And I don't try to prove myself that I can be any better than that. Neither I try to become anything better than that. And that gives me a lot of freedom. So that's what I would recommend, that you have that freedom of knowing your limitations, living within your limitations, and enjoying life to the extent that you can within your limitations.
Beautiful.
So my joy of life will be different for somebody else's joy of life. And I just follow what gives me that joy.
True.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just related what Preeta asked you. So I just wanted to ask, जैसे इस बुक में लिखा हुआ है कि महाकाल was born out of anger. Okay, so I had a question that these navrasas, what we call, that plays in our life, does that actually is played over there also, or it was just that anger which played that role and there are no emotions over there like these navrasas, or there are only few rasas which is like always happen?
In the world of God, the things that are negative don't play out. And if someone tries to play them out in that realm, that person is eased out of that realm. It's not only this king was eased out, there were others also who were eased out, who wanted to play those games with the lower vibration things. Because in the domain of God, you have to have things which are the true qualities of God. And one of the most important thing is you have to follow the will of God. That's the most important thing. The second thing is God should be enough for you and you don't need anything more than that. The third thing is you should be one with God, not just in terms of following the will, but also in terms of becoming an extension of God. Now, once you go against the will of God, you have separated yourself from God. You have declared that what you are doing, I don't agree with you, which means you have brought in a judgment. And also you have brought in something called your ambitions, personal ambitions. And up to a point, God tolerates because you are the son of God. You are the creation of God. But beyond a point, God eases you out or God steps back.
Very nice. Yeah.
So, whatever you spoke about life, about the way it is, and nothing's gonna change, it is as planned. I liked it very much to listen from you. What I wanted to know from you is what is death, and if it is a feeling, is it soothing or is it painful? And is it same for you and for me?
When you go to sleep, do you come to know the point where you were awake and the next moment you were asleep? You don't come to know. In the same way, you will not come to know that point when you were alive and when you are no more alive. You will have zero experience of death, just as you have zero experience of falling into sleep. And because you will have zero experience of death, then death is neither soothing nor it is painful. Okay?
And is it same for you and me?
Yes, death will be always same for every human. There might be a lot of pain prior to death, but the phenomena of death itself is same for every human.
But like God and for me.
When you refer to me as God, that which will die is not God, but that which will die is a body-mind mechanism that this individual is. And when this individual dies, I will have the same no experience as you will have the same no experience with death.
Very insightful.
So in extension to that, I had that question since he brought it up. One of mine is that what after you? Like now goddess and God were there. Okay. Now she left body, mind, personality. And now at some point this body, mind, personality will leave. Then what? Then what in the sense your work or who will give your message or the videos go on, whatever.
I will be around for some time because it is the will of God that I be around. But once I leave, whenever that is, even God is going to go. But God will still be accessible to those who wants to connect with God. Maybe my work will remain through the videos, maybe it will remain through the book. But there will not be a human who will come forth like me. Because God doesn't need to be in this universe once I die. So till God wants to be in this universe, I have to live.
Okay.
I had a question that when we die, the process which we normally go through is, Ram Naam Sat Hai. This is how the process is being. And then whatever rituals happen, it happens for the fallen king. So, from your side, what should be the ritual like? What is the process like after that, the death? What do you think should process?
You have heard from him that goddess is no more. She died from a cardiac arrest. And when the doctor declared that she is no more, we took her directly to the house that she lived in. Not rather the house she lived in, because she was living in Surat. We were in Ahmedabad where she died. But we took her to her friend's house, which was very dear to her. And we were there for about half an hour. And after that, we took her directly to the crematorium. Once her body was pushed into the gas chamber and the door was closed, we left. We means just 3-4 people who were from Ahmedabad and our husband. So we didn't even wait for the body to complete the burning. We didn't wait to collect the ashes. Because for us, our job is over. And then we went back home. Did we do anything after that? There was no need to do anything after that. No rituals, no puja part, nothing. And why was it so that we don't need to do anything? Because you have to understand the very purpose of the rituals. Now, she mentioned that generally, as the body is being taken to the crematorium or maybe in the house or wherever, they chant a mantra called Ram Naam Satya Hai. It's interesting to know this line. First is the word Ram. Now, to you, it seems that this name, Ram, belongs to the son of Dashrath. Now this is where a very interesting phenomena that happened. When the Son of God was pushed out from the domain of God and he started his creation work, and when he decided that God is coming and I have to ensure that no one goes to God, he knew that God was known as Ram. But he had to create one more Ram in the psyche of the human, in the narrative of the human, in the conversations of the human. And this word Ram will only refer to an individual who was born in Ayodhya. Now, no one will ever call God or Paramatma as Ram, because Ram has now been copyrighted in Ayodhya. The second thing, the mantra says Ram Nam Satya hai. What is the word Satya meaning? It means truth. But what does it really mean? What is true? What is true is that which is always. What is true is that which is eternal. What is true is that which doesn't change. What is true is it exactly remains in that form, in that way forever. That is what is true. And anything which changes, anything which dies, anything which is immortal, anything which kind of goes through the emotional turmoil is not true. It is transient. So true and transient cannot be the same thing. And if true and transient cannot be the same thing, how can the Ayodhya of Ram be true? So how can the Ram of Ayodhya be Satya? There's another interesting conversation called Sat Chit Anand, which sometimes people connect with Shiva. And I'm like, okay, so what is Sat for you? Sat is Shiva. So do you mean to say that Shiva is not immortal? Do you mean to say that Shiva doesn't die? Shiva dies. Every creation cycle, Shiva is dying and is again reborn. So Shiva cannot be Satya. So now Sat is gone. Even if you refer Sat to as the supreme being of our universe, not the true supreme being, but the supreme being of our universe, whom we refer to as the King, whom we refer to as Mahadev, whom we refer to as Allah, whom we refer to as Jehovah, whom we refer to as Father, whom we refer to as Ahura Mazda, whom we refer to as Vaheguru, whom we refer to as Adi Yogi, whom we refer to as Kal Brahm, whom we refer to as Jyoti Niranjan. So he has many names. In different culture, he comes across with different names. Same individual, the Son of God. Now the moment we say Son of God, what pops up in your head is Jesus. But Jesus was the Son of the Son of God. But anyway, every religion has its own, what I would say, distortions or deceptions, not distortions. Deceptions is a better word. So coming back to Sat Chit Anand. So there is no Sat, because this one also dies again and again and again. This one called the Son of God. Because that is the curse that he carries, that you have to die. And when you die, creation comes to an end. And when you are again born, the creation begins. And many a times the creation has ended, many a times the creation has begun. So there is no Sat. Then comes the next word, Chit. Now, Chit means consciousness. There is no consciousness in this universe. Why? Because the one who is the highest being in this universe, called the king, has no consciousness. And if the king has no consciousness, how can anyone down the line have consciousness? But you will say, no, there are spiritual gurus who have high consciousness. You will say there are masters who have high consciousness. You will say, no, there is Shiva who has high consciousness. You will say, no, there is Krishna who has high consciousness. None of them have consciousness. What they have is known as awareness. But unfortunately, consciousness and awareness has been merged together. There is only one individual who has consciousness, and that is God or Paramatma. The Son of God has no consciousness, and everyone down the line has no consciousness. Buddha has no consciousness, Mahavir has no consciousness, Ramana has no consciousness. That's what is known as mind. And what is mind? Mind is nothing but a controlling mechanism. And the way he can control, there is no one who can control more than that. And what is consciousness? Consciousness, one of the aspects of consciousness is an allowing phenomena. It allows everything. I tell people that God will not come and do much for you. You know why? Because if God does anything for you, God is going to go against his own son. And God says, I love my son, I don't love you, love the humans. The humans means nothing to God. But you feel that no, we are all the children of God. God should be so nice to us. God should be so benevolent. God should be so loving. No, God doesn't care about. Neither the king cares about you, nor the God cares about you. You do not care about the insects in your house. We are nothing more than that for God. Now, people don't like this kind of conversations. Why? Because it breaks their dream. People don't want to confront reality. And how do I say all these things? Because I know everything firsthand. My knowledge doesn't come from books. And that's why you will find in my voice a conviction. But it is a conviction that doesn't want to really overpower you. It just wants to deliver and move on. I have not come here to make you my follower. I have not come here to convince you about what I am saying. I have not come here to change you from one slot to another slot. Because I don't care about all these things. In my eyes, you are perfect where you are, the way you are, and whatever you are doing in order to pass your time before you die. And that being so, why should I try to make you a different person? Why would I want to give you a different set of beliefs? So I tell people, don't believe in me. I tell people, don't agree with me. Why? Because you do not have the capacity to really evaluate me. You do not have the capacity to check what I am saying. You do not have the capacity to kind of explore the true or falsity of my statements. You don't have them. Up till now, how did you live? You just lived by reading books. You just lived by hearing to the masters and the gurus and the teachers and the acharyas. That's how you lived. That was the only access you had to whatever we call as Gyan. But here is the man who comes and tells you that I don't speak from the books. I don't speak from a place of the domain that you live. I speak from the place of beyond the domain. And I am not under the hypnosis of the one who has hypnotized you. Because I went against that person a long time ago. And I tell people, and maybe I am boasting, you might feel it, that it is all his Ankar speaking. But it was that when Shiva came and he learned that how he has been fooled by his father. And how was Shiva fooled? His father said to Shiva, go down and give humans the knowledge of religion and spirituality. And what did Shiva feel? Shiva felt that I will be able to free the humans from all their suffering and pain, because my knowledge is so beautiful and everyone will practice what I tell them, everyone will accept what I tell them, everyone will follow what I tell them, and no human will ever have any suffering and pain. That is what Shiva thought. And Shiva took birth multiple times as a human. But every time he failed. He didn't understand his failure. Because he didn't know his father, what his father was doing. It's only when I told him that this is what your father is doing. And he was shocked. And then he took the mantra. But when he started practicing that mantra, his father came and said, no, you cannot do it. And this guy whom you worshipped, this guy whom you considered to be a very macho man, this guy whom you considered to be very brave, whom you considered to be very ultimate, couldn't stand in front of his father. He was scared of his father. No scripture tells you that. I stood in front of his father for now 9 years. But he couldn't. So all the gods that you worship and everything that you know about these gods through your scriptures, they are untrue. They are not true. So we come back to Satchitanand.
But you said also that Shiva has gone back to the real God. So
Yeah, that is another aspect of the conversation.
at the end of him not following.
Once he realized what happened and once he realized that how he is being treated by his God, no one likes to be fooled. And he didn't like it either, but there was no option for him. Now there is an option. And he chose the other one.
And the real Paramatma. he chose. And then you also said that anyway, those who were worshipping him in the name of all that.
Yeah, I did say, because people ask
in
me,
Ayodhya.
if Shiva has gone to Paramatma, that means if I go and worship in the Shiva temple, will I get connected with Paramatma? I say no. The father of Shiva has already ensured that that temple will connect you with whatever you call as Bhagwan, whatever you call as Mahadev.
Yeah, but you also said that no, not worship the temple, but those who were following, who were connected with Shiva, they will also be emancipated, or their souls also will go back because Shiva has gone back.
I said that.
In that Ram Mandir that I have seen that 2 to 3 times that way. Ram Mandir. Someone was asking about the Ram Mandir.
I would like you to send me that clip.
Yes.
But here I am saying no.
Okay.
Because then I will have to edit it out.
Yeah.
It is my video. If it is someone else.
No, it is yours, but I also could be wrong. So anyway, I'll send it.
Okay, fine. Currently it is like no.
Yeah. Okay.
So whatever I say.
Sat
Chitanand. So that's how I said that there is no Sat and there is no Chit. And if there is no Sat and there is no Chit, how can you access Anand? Because you do not know what truly creates Anand. Anand is not something that you can create in the materialistic world. You cannot create through your meditation. You cannot create through your any kind of spiritual practice.
We had so many questions. But some questions just came after you talked. How old is Shiva?
Shiva is only as old as the creation cycle is, but God doesn't tell me much about the creation cycle. I mean, how old the current creation cycle is, God doesn't talk much about that.
Okay. Is the king in the form of human being?
Yeah, the king has a similar forms structure like a human. We are basically created in the way God created the human. God means the ultimate God. So I will use two words, God and king, just to differentiate.
So I'm asking about king.
Yeah, so God created all his sons the way God is, and God created the human the way God is. So this is also the structure of God.
God or king?
Both.
Both. Okay. I go to my written questions is, if the God has created the king, how come the king goes against the God's will? Did the God not know that what he is going to create will go against?
God knows everything, but God doesn't still stop anything. God is perfectly alright with things going haywire. God is perfectly alright with things going against him. God is perfectly alright with his own structure breaking down. I have seen my work breaking down multiple times, and I would go into depression. Years of work will be washed away, and I'm like, we wasted so much. But I didn't understand that God always came back in a new way from a different direction, because I was against the king, and king would come and destroy the work that we were doing. And that's why it took us such a long time.
So do you say that the king is more powerful than God?
It is not that the king is more powerful, but God has something which is known as ethics. And in that ethics, one of the thing is that God will not come in the way of his son in what he is doing. God will not exert his strength in order to curb his own son. God will not stop his own son from doing exactly everything that is he is doing. And it took me many years ultimately to realize, and that was my biggest frustrations in my initial years, that why don't you stop the king? Why can't you give me the power? If you don't exert your power, I told God, you give me your power, I'll do it. And God said, if I don't do it, you also don't do it. Which means you have to go through the pain that the king is inflicting on you. And this is where people make a wrong judgment, because they feel the king is more powerful. No, this is not the house of God. This is the house of king. And in that house, God will not stop king from doing what he is doing. God has different way from carrying out his work without stopping the king.
Okay. Like you said, the book says that the story is already written. So the story for the king must also be having written.
No, I'm talking about the humans.
So I asked if the king is also human in the form.
No, in form he is like that, but king is not human.
What's the difference?
King is the son of God, and humans were created in order to feed the king with our grind.
So we don't have any ounce of God.
We do have our energy bodies was given to us by God, and our physical body, our mind, our character, which is personality, and the fourth one, which we call as spirit. These four things were given to us by king.
Okay. And last one.
Yeah.
If the storyline is already written, then can we change it?
No, we cannot change.
Okay. Then how in the book also says that if the story allows, you can change.
I do not, the story can never allow. Did I really write if the story allows?
So I may be
I do not,
misquoting, kindly correct.
I cannot remember while writing that. But if you can locate that portion, please do. I will have to make corrections. Thank you.
So you spoke about consciousness and awareness. I was a bit shaken because I thought both are same. So I looked up. So consciousness says it means the ability to process information and make sense of it, and awareness is the ability to only perceive. So it means that we as humans can only be aware, and you as God, you can be conscious. So we can just listen to you, but we cannot make a choice. Am I right?
Read that portion about what is consciousness and stop.
Consciousness is the ability to process information and make sense of it.
Isn't artificial intelligence doing that already?
Yeah.
And tomorrow it will do much better than the humans?
True.
And then can we say that artificial intelligence has consciousness?
Then so is artificial intelligence God?
Definitely not. That means there's something wrong with this statement.
So can you clarify? Because what I feel is, if I'm just aware, then you have not given me choice to be conscious. I mean, I cannot process anything. I can just be aware. Like you are telling, I'm just listening. But I don't have a choice.
Truly, you do not have a choice.
Yeah, so am I right in making that statement? That awareness doesn't allow us to make a choice.
It's not that awareness doesn't allow you to make a choice, but you do not have the capacity to make a choice.
So is the definition of awareness right there?
Awareness means you are aware of everything. And currently you are aware of me sitting in front of you. If your awareness increases, you will become simultaneously aware of all the people without looking at them. If your awareness increases much more, you will actually be able to see beyond dimensions, which means you will be able to see the non-physical worlds. If your awareness goes much further, you will be able to see the end of the universe.
So is there a possibility that we humans can be king or gods?
But there is no possibility.
Thank you.
Pradipji, you just said that God doesn't care, right? Whether we are happy, we are sad. This is what I understand, what you said, right? So, what do you think? How are we to live? We look up to God, He'll take away all our problems. Emotionally, we are attached, right? But now, when you're saying God doesn't care, so how are we human beings supposed to live? I see godliness in everybody. So then what do I see in them?
What do you mean by godliness?
Like now, as far as a human, what I understand, he is perfect. He takes care of us. He's loving. He's sharing. He will help us to, give me that power to take the actions where I can come out of all the things which I'm not very comfortable with.
Is that a reality in your life?
Yes, it can be. Like I lost my parents very early at the age of 7.
So are you saying you have no pain, no suffering in your life?
No, I have. That's what I'm telling. So because at that time I used to look up to God, right? He's there with me, and that would give me the power.
God deliver.
Maybe it gave me the power to take actions in my life to face it. That's what I understand, because that is what I've seen my grandparents doing it, my mother doing it.
So when you examine life, and do not examine just your life, because you may be someone who is very strong. You may be someone who is not easily disturbed. You may be someone who has the capacity to process pain and suffering. Look into humanity, how miserable humanity is. And where is this loving God? Are they not all praying to the God?
Right.
Then why is not God coming and really giving relief from all this suffering and pain? Why does He make the humans suffer so miserably? So doesn't that shake you in your faith to God?
No, it doesn't shake my faith in the sense maybe that is how they are not accepting and taking actions in their life. My meaning of this is, then how do we human live?
So
what are we supposed to live?
You think taking actions are going to make you better than what you are?
So if I don't take actions, then what do I live for?
I don't know.
So that is not to know.
I'm only you just said that taking actions is important for you.
But that is how we live. That is what my every moment is. I'm doing something.
But it is not giving you relief from your suffering and pain. And when I say you, I am talking about humanity. What is happening is taking action just gives you a distraction from your suffering and pain. Some people use actions like going into entertainment. Some people use actions like going into eating. Some people take actions like going into the mall for shopping. Some people take actions. So all these distractions, there is a whole list that humans have designed in order that they do not have to confront their own suffering and pain. Some people take actions to make money and more money. Some people take actions to become knowledgeable and more knowledgeable. Some people take actions to meditate and meditate more and more. But what are they doing? Basically, they are doing is that they are distracting themselves from their own pain and suffering.
But then by creation, he has given us the intellect, right? Otherwise, I would have been a plant. He's not doing anything. Even if he's suffering, I'm beating him, I'm cutting it, he's going back again. So I have that intelligence with me. They don't have the intelligence. So it means, should I look up to them to live how to live?
The plants are more intelligent than the humans.
Because they don't speak. That is why we've made this.
No, when we look into reality, we see that the way they process things, the way they adapt, the way they survive, without creating any drama, without creating any kind of judgment and criticism, and in trying to be giving rather than taking, the plants are more intelligent than us. Human intelligence cannot be called as intelligence.
Okay. So in the end, suppose if you said ki if I'm not good, if my karmas are not good, he will throw me away from the realm. What is the realm? Something you said, no? He will not be in.
Did I say anything like if karma is not good?
No, I forgot the word what you said. I meant to say in my lay language, what I understand as karma, my actions. You said if you're not that way, then he will throw you away from his circle, na, that ring. You will not be in that circle.
God.
He will ease you out. That's what
Ease you out. Something else. For the will of. He said that.
You do not follow the will of God, either God will step back or ease you out from his domain.
So to be in his realm, do I have to be very good? Or do I have to be kind? Do I have to be loving? Do I have to do the best? What is required then?
You have to only follow the will of God.
But how do I know what is the will of God?
You will know when it is time to know, like I know. God has not given any will to the humans.
So there we are. Then how do we live?
But you're already living. There's nothing wrong.
So then it will be like mechanism. Then it's like, yeah, I'm just breathing. I'm just living.
That's exactly how you will live. We call it time pass.
So it means if I get angry, it's fine. If I'm loving, it's fine.
I get angry in a big way.
Yeah. Right?
Yes.
So if I manipulate, that's also fine.
Everything is fine.
So it means no reactions. I should not be reacting to.
No, you
It's
can
okay.
you can be reactive. Why not?
So is that good or is that bad now?
It's neither good nor bad.
So I just go on doing what is required.
What else can you do? Why should you want to be anything different than
But
what?
the society boundaries come to interest. No? They throw us away. Then she's bad. She's not nice. Right? Then I'm confused now.
Now if you no, there's no need for confusion. Either you decide you want to live for yourself or you want to live for others.
What do you think I should do?
Now I am not going to tell you what you should do. I live for God. I don't even live for myself. In your case, there is no such thing as living for God. In your case, it is just whether you want to live for yourself or you want to live for others. If you want to live for others, live a life of sacrifice. If you want to live for yourself, then sacrifice others from your life.
Both.
And I'm not talking about good. I'm not talking about this.
Yeah.
What about?
Consequences about.
Consequences? Yeah, anything that you do has consequences.
Everything will have consequences.
Everything has consequences. You cannot escape consequences.
So then we have to act.
But you are already acting. Why are you making it complicated?
Confused.
But you are confused as if there is something wrong with the way you are living. I don't see anything wrong with the way you are living. You are saying that. I am seeing you are perfect the way you are living.
But if we don't like those consequences also?
Then you take different set of actions.
Change.
Again, another set of consequences will follow.
But still, if you're forced to take those steps of those actions?
There is no one forcing you, and yet you do not have any freedom. Both are true.
So you said that if I comment, we in your sonority, that if we come and tell you our pain or suffering, you will be able, you will do something by which we will see the changes.
I did not add anything after I said share your pain and suffering. All I added was see what shows up.
See what shows up if I share my supposing pain or sufferings with you.
Maybe nothing will show up, maybe a lot will show up, we don't know.
And then how will I know that whether it is?
When it shows up, you will know.
Okay.
Pratik ji, what if someone is already at ease, relaxed, contented?
They don't need God.
So, I mean, I say, or I feel, or I think that at least there is certain mass of people who can reach that space of, like you said in your that no raga, no dvesha, and no and the desires. I mean, there's no particular desire. Of course, desire to have water is there, but there is only to quench the thirst. Like that, if we can reach, of course, it may be in my storyline that is supposed to happen that way, like you said, could be, but like this major question is there: is it all destiny, or is it free will? So, as you said, you also clear it that very nicely in one of the things you plead that when it doesn't go your way, it is destiny. And when it goes your way, then assume it is a free will. Assume your life as of it's a free will.
Yeah, so the first thing that I tell people is if you feel your life is sorted out, you don't need God. Actually, you don't need anything because it is sorted out. The very fact that you need something psychologically shows that you are not sorted out. That's number one. Number two, I've forgotten all that you say.
No, I said destiny and free will.
Okay, destiny versus free will. So people ask after everything, after listening to everything, like, how do I live? Like she asked me, how do you live? And particularly within the context of free will. And I tell people that assume you have free will. But when things go against you, then assume that you have your destiny.
Right.
And that kind of brings you at some level of
Some ease.
But if right in the beginning you assume everything is destined and I am not going to put in my 100%, well, then probably you will find certain consequences of life much more disturbing than it already is.
True. Yes. Yeah. True.
But in that case, the spirit will not allow to not do it.
Whatever spirit will stop you from comes later, but when you start taking action, assume you have free will.
No, and that's why there are, I'm understanding now, because that's the difference which made in mind that we teach, there's a standard teaching is when things don't go your way, smile and pass it on or pass it back, smile and laugh it out. When it goes your way, definitely you are happy. When it doesn't go your way, don't put your head, it just smile and pass it out. So you are at ease of acceptance of that situation. Then I personally tell everyone, you just follow this principle, it will work. Many follow, many don't follow. Many cannot follow. Many do that. It's so simple. I said, just take 1 minute. 1 minute, okay. Like you say, take the mantra. It takes 1 minute or 2 minutes. So many don't follow. So I said, they don't follow. But now earlier I would get disturbed. Why they're not following? Now I say it's in their story life. They are not supposed to follow. They are not in my storyline. Let's say 50 people are supposed to follow, or 500 or whatever. That many will follow and feel contented in their life. At least they can go through the life like this. And those are not supposed to follow, will not, because that is there in their storyline written. That understanding, it gave me my frustration or my irritation of why they are not following just 1 minute, such a simple thing. Is at ease. Now I am not worried about them. So that tremendous relaxation I got within. So I am now suddenly, I am not here to change anyone or get irritated on anyone or get frustrated on why you're not following. This is such a simple thing. It is like so when it is destiny, okay, it is their journey, it is their storyline. So I just suddenly relax. That is my personal understanding and experience also. One of them which came, so I wanted to share.
Okay.
In like Bhagavad Gita, we hear that our whatever karmas we do, we bear the consequences of it. And if we are not certain consequences, they are carried forward in the next janmas and they become our prarabdha. But then, if everything is already destined, so where is the question of doing any karma or any karma fell? So, can you?
Messy word. People assume that there is karma. So I tell people that there is no such thing as karma, and yet there is karma. Now it becomes more frustrating. You see, for karma to be, you need to have free will. And you are given the illusion of having free will. They force you to believe that you have free will, and all the mistakes that you committed, you are the one responsible for that, and you have to bear the consequences of that. That is the illusion that humans have been given. But when you come to realize that you are nothing but a puppet whose strings are being pulled in different ways to make you dance in different ways, and you have no free will, now the question comes, how can I be responsible for any of my actions?
Right. And this is very disempowering to know that I do not have any free will.
Yes. So when you really get it, you also realize that there is no such thing as karma. Because for karma to be, you must have free will. But again, I am also saying still karma is there. Why do I say that still karma is there? Because unless you have karma, the souls who are writing your storyline before you are born, they need some basis on which they create their storyline. You didn't get?
This is little confusing. Now, when is saying, there is no karma and there is karma. So, not.
You see, those who force you to do the acts, good, bad, and ugly, they also create a baggage, karmic baggage, as if you had free will. So, karma is thrust upon you without you creating it.
What is this?
You are getting confused because you are trying to understand me within the framework of it should be either this or this. Now I am jumping. I'm sometimes here, sometimes I'm again talking here, again I'm here, and now your mind is not able to process what I'm saying. So I will go a little more slow. First thing, there is no such thing as karma. And second thing, karma still is. First thing, in order for karma to be, you must have free will. But when you examine life very deeply, you will find you have no free will. And then the question will come, if I don't have free will, how can I have karma? Which means there is no karma. But at the same time, there is karma, because without karma, you cannot keep on coming back into the next human life. Because on the basis of karma, your next human life storyline is written. That means even though you never had any free will, whoever was doing all these games in the non-physical realm, they were creating the karma for you. And from that karma, you are now facing all your next incarnation, whatever you are facing, good, bad, and ugly. So now, people ask me, okay, we got all those things, just say whether there is karma or no karma. Because you're confusing me. Just tell me whether it is there or it is not there. Then I say, okay, it is there. Because you didn't get the subtle portion of it. You didn't get the other part of it. And for mind, it is very confusing if you try to tell them that this is also true and this is also true. Now you are making it too difficult. So,
If you see the macro aspect of it, okay, then there is karma. As you said, we are born in our karmic, emotional, that energy body will create and it will come back, it will come back, it will come back. But if you see the whole, I mean the bigger portion in that way, more macro way, but that also has been designed in a way It's designed in a way where it will come on repeating. That also has been orchestrated. So from that bigger portion, there is no karma because this whole storyline is there. And within that, once you go into little, from bird's eye view, you go little, then all karma is there. I don't.
Yeah, it's true.
So you are totally free that if you come out of the cycle, which at the end I will say that if you can come out of it, then you're free from all this cycle. But can you come out of it? Is it in your storyline? I say yes, it's there in my storyline. But then whoever connects, like he said, connects with God, it will be there. I say whoever connects with me, I'm connected with God, it's there with me. Now how many will be? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, this is a game which we are playing. So I have freed myself from this whole cycle of this thing. You know, after the earlier also, but now very, very, very clear that this is. I mean, there's nothing you can. I live as though it's my last day of my life. If I go also in the night, it's okay. Yeah. I mean, totally fulfilled, complete, absolutely no tomorrow or this thing. But at the same time, may live for years. I don't know how much ever. That is my thing, Pradip. Sorry if I am.
No, it's perfect what you say. But just to make it a little more clear, just to summarize it, within the hypnosis, and as long as you believe yourself to be a body-mind character, there is karma. Outside the hypnosis, when you come to a place of your pure awareness or your pure observer, karma is no more. Now, next question is, how do I come out of the hypnosis? Which again is a whole different conversation. But understanding karma, just the bottom line is, within hypnosis there is karma, and yet it is not true, because karma is nothing but a part of the hypnosis. Because it only exists within hypnosis. If it would have been real, it would have also existed outside the hypnosis. So that's just to summarize it.
Beautiful.
Okay, so one thing you said, there is no bliss. No, I can tell you.
I didn't say there is no bliss. I asked her.
Okay. So what I want to share is like I go to a state or dimension, whatever you want to say, where I feel a lot of bliss, and at that state, when I'm into that dimension, I experience a lot of unconditional love, fearlessness, extreme peace, creativity, all this thing. What is that?
You have heard of near-death experience, and you have heard of that they don't want to come back.
Yes.
So you actually access that point, that dimension. It's so beautiful. It is so peaceful. It's so loving. It's so freeing. And when they're being told you have to go back to the body, they say, no, we don't want to go back. Every story of near-death experiences that is ever being written or told, what they see there is a different thing. But at the end, everyone says, I don't want to go back. And you also are accessing, we call that the fourth dimension, an aspect of the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension has many aspects.
At that state, I also get a different perspective is very different than what I have in the normal, normal life. On my normal, I can see I am not a normal personality, ego, which I am normally is. It's a very different perspective of looking at life, and everything is very different at that.
Which is true, because you are no more human.
At that point, is it?
You're only your astral body. It is not this human who experiences that. It is your astral body who experiences that, and your mind remembers all those experiences.
But you said spirituality cannot help you to be in the Anand.
Yes. Because you do not know that these things are created through the storyline. It was in his storyline that he will access this realm and have these experiences. And unless it is in the storyline, these things cannot happen. You cannot make it happen. After listening to him, if you do exactly what he is doing, it will not show up in your life.
So it's the storyline, not the spirituality.
It is the storyline, nothing to do with spirituality. I tell people Buddha never became Buddha because of what he did and what he told his disciples to do. It was in his storyline that he will become a Buddha. Eckhart Tolle did not become Eckhart Tolle by following the teachings of power of now. He became enlightened. One day he was insane. The next moment he is enlightened. Where is his power of now teaching in that happening?
To this NDE, what he said, okay? So I experienced it, and earlier I felt I was like how you told Sarita that it's a distracting. What actions you take is for distracting, okay? So that time I felt I was very emotional and very powerless. And when I experienced the NDE, I also felt the same thing, that it's blissful. I don't feel like coming back, but God ne babes tapka diya. And my friend says that something you would have gone up and done some contract with him, that now you've come back and you've become more powerful.
Did you become more powerful?
That's what I feel.
In which way?
That how earlier I used to take actions is completely different from what now I take.
Okay. I got it. So, any question or just a sharing?
So, the question is, what all experiences I'm having in my life, or we all are going through. Why the hell God created only in the first place all this?
Good.
God created all this only for the sake of his son.
But why? If he knows that his son is going to do this, why the hell he created and making us suffer all this?
But he created us to suffer. I tell people that the villain is actually God.
That is, he wanted to play with us?
No, he just wanted to give his son the ultimate negativity, which is you have to eat day in, day out the grime of the humans.
Yeah, but because of giving that consequence to his son, so many other people are suffering, no?
Yeah, but it is considered like this, that if you like potato, how much suffering you are giving to potato in order to feed your hunger. And you think potato is dead? It is alive.
We're all potatoes.
I can remember our potato story.
No, so I say, see, don't take anything so serious. If you can take it as a cosmic joke, if you can understand, then how do you do it? That's never a story, but if one can understand it's a cosmic joke going on and we are all the, whatever, potatoes or puppets.
I understand it is in her storyline.
Yeah. That is also this. That's what I'm saying. It's me, if it is there in the storyline.
But why create the storyline?
That Pradip is an ass.
Every time let and do what they want now, right?
So my first question is, we are changing one photo, शिवा के बदले आपका लगा दिया बुक के ऊपर. मतलब बुक पहले हम लोग शिवा वाला बुक पढ़ते थे, अभी आपका फोटो वाला बुक देखते हैं. Then we believe that this is a god, so we are just changing one religion to another religion.
Okay.
So that's my question to myself, that is it something which is happening to me?
You are okay. That is a question. I thought that was a statement.
So I was just thinking, बोला कल तक एक गॉड था, अभी ये जो कि दूसरा नया स्टोरी बुक आ गया.
It's true that my face has become the face of God, and if that you get it, you truly are changing your God, you truly are changing your religion. This religion still doesn't have any name. Maybe tomorrow it can become a name. Some label is given, and then my face is kind of the whatever face Shiva had. But it's not a very interesting personality.
Somebody will make
The Shiva.
actual later. Sure.
Maybe they will add a lot of muscles to my body and make my hair black. Let them do whatever they want to do.
Okay. So my next question is, am I here because of my storyline today?
You mean to this event?
Right now.
No. This never was a part of your storyline. You are here only because God wanted you to be here, and also because your mind and personality, or let's say body, mind, personality, choose this invitation from God and stepped out from wherever you came.
So a little weird question to ask. If I kill you, is it in my storyline?
Yes, only because of that you will be able to kill me.
This only is. So come to my written question.
Yes.
There are 40 to be in with. There are 40 more people to come in.
So my question is, what are the qualities of परमात्मा? आपके पास बहुत सारी क्वालिटी है, मतलब उसके बच्चे की, उसके सन की या किंग की, पर परमात्मा की कोई क्वालिटी आप नहीं बताता है. मतलब is there any quality of परमात्मा which is there, which we
You
can...
see, I know the king because the king is in my domain, because much of king is in me, and and also because king tried to stop me and play all kind of games with me and play all kind of nonsense, sometimes very bad things, and because of all that I know the king lot more than I know God. Because my interaction with God is only to the extent of the instructions I receive. I cannot gossip with God. I cannot talk about God like gathering informations about A to Z, like doing Googling. So, I do not know much about God, but the little bit that I know is He is very allowing. I won't say very forgiving. In my experience, He steps back when I am not following His will, and it really takes a lot of saying I'm sorry, also saying like, God is like, you don't have to say sorry, you have to realize that you don't understand. When I tell you something to do, it has a lot of meaning behind it, which I don't reveal to you, and you have to trust me in doing what I'm telling you to do. But the human mind being what it is, while I'm able to follow that instructions most of the time, but I do sometimes deviate. And I have seen God stepping back. I have seen everything in me crumble. So I won't say God is all that forgiving. I have seen people who couldn't go back to God after this, did not follow the will of God, no matter how much they tried. So I wouldn't say God is loving. I wouldn't say God is caring. So I know a few things as not, and I know God is very allowing. So this is the one part I know as what God is. The other things I know as what God is not. So in the end, I truly do not know what God is, even though I've worked day and night with God.
Pradip ji, but in this same thing, if you say God is allowing itself is so loving, so caring, so this, because allowing is a very, very, very...
But allowing can also be like not caring.
It can be. But in the true sense, what we speak is allowing means you allow the person to be the way it is without any...
And I have seen God also not forgiving. So I cannot really put God into a box.
So जो गॉड का बच्चा है वो बोलता है पाप है, पुण्य है, नरक है, मोक्ष है. परमात्मा कहाँ पे लेके जाना हुआ? मतलब वो भी मोक्ष में...
You want to answer in Hindi?
No, English.
इंग्लिश का.
Okay.
मतलब इंग्लिश चले.
So God is not going to take you anywhere, because the one who is asking the question is going to seize at some point of time. The body will be burnt, the mind will be gone, the story will be gone, your breath will be gone, and whoever is receiving the answer today is not going to go anywhere. But there is something in you that is going to go, which is your energy bodies and the soul back to God after you die.
I will not come back now.
No one will come back because the soul is gone.
So normally, no, like all these years I've been coming in form of a human. Every time I die and come back in
human, whenever they die, they always come back as human. You cannot go down into any other species. Then people ask me, how can that be? Because our scriptures say you go into becoming donkey and pig and this and that. Well, I tell them that you have energy bodies. And your energy bodies will bring you back to a human. A pig doesn't have an energy body. A donkey doesn't have an energy body. Not the way humans have. And these bodies will bring you back into a human incarnation.
परमात्मा के पास स्पिरिट के फॉर्म में चला जाओ.
Not spirit. Spirit belongs to the king. You have to understand what is spirit. Spirit is nothing but an extension of the mind of the king. So I tell people of an example. The example is very simple. Imagine an ocean. The ocean is the mind of the king. We call this the matrix. And spirit is the wave that rises from the ocean. And this one wave has gone into you. One wave has come into me. And spirit is also known as Ishwar. It is also known as Atman, not Atma. Atman. So when you hear about Brahman and Atman, Brahman is that ocean. Brahman is the matrix. The spirit is the wave that rises. Ishwar is the wave that rises. Atman is the wave that rises. And when Atman enters into a jiva, the jiva comes alive. When the Atman leaves that jiva, the jiva is now dead. So, there is spirit, there is soul, both totally different. And I don't know which direction I was going. So come back to your question maybe.
So परमात्मा के पास कौन से फॉर्म में चाहो?
हाँ, so you will go back to God as your energy bodies and as your soul. Only these two. Because they came from God. And only that which has come from God goes back to God. Whatever belongs to the king remains in the realm of the king. So spirit goes back to the matrix. Physical body will be burnt or buried. And the mind and the personality will get uncreated.
थोड़ा समझ में आया, थोड़ा समझ में नहीं आया.
Oh, I should have spoken in Hindi.
नहीं. आपने जो बोले समझ में आया, थोड़ा समझ में मतलब डाइजेस्ट हो रहा है.
Okay.
आपका मैंने वीडियो देखा था in which you said that before you there was only Kabir and there has nobody been anywhere before that. So these two are sons who God has sent here, Kabir and yourself.
I am not the son of God.
No, not son, but Kabir is the son of God. And you and he are the only two people who have come here.
Yes.
So my question is, why have you two only come to India? Why not anywhere else? And what happens to those people who are outside and within, not knowing anything about you and Kabir?
That is for God to decide. The only thing I can say is the amount of work that I am doing, I could have done only in this place. No one else would have tolerated this work within the realm of whatever they are.
And just now you said that we would go back in the form of a soul and energy, right?
Energy bodies.
Energy body. So when we go back to God in that form, what happens? Are we still we as a memory, or we are?
You will not carry any human memory with you.
So we will merge with God. What will?
No one merges with God, but what exactly will happen, I don't know. But yeah, even the soul doesn't merge with God once the soul is created.
And the God, as a person or whatever he is, he has always been there forever.
That's what he says.
In his form.
In his form. And people ask, what is the face of God? I say that anyone beyond the third dimension is a shapeshifter. You know what is shapeshifter? Shapeshifter is one who can take on any kind of shape, any kind of face. So do not assume that there is the face of God, because even the lower ones, which we call as the entity, can come as very divine beings, and yet they could be very dark. They can deceive you because they are shapeshifters, and anyone above can definitely do what the entities can do. So they don't need to have any fixed face like we humans have. So we cannot assume that this is the face of God. Currently, God says this is the face of God for the humans. He doesn't say this is the face of God truly.
And there are other universes in which similar things are happening.
The humans are only on this planet. Thank you.
So मैसेंजर ऑफ गॉड हो कि मैसेंजर ऑफ किंग हो?
कोई गारंटी नहीं है. किताब में लिखा है हमारे मेरे ऊपर विश्वास मत करना.
हाँ, मतलब कब का वही लग रहा है कि मतलब आप ही किंग के, मतलब किंग ने ही वो सबको भेजे थे ना.
हो भी सकता है, हो भी सकता है.
अल्लाह है, जो भी जुनोवा है, सबको आप मतलब वही आए थे, तो एक फॉर्म आपका भी हो सकता है.
हो सकता है.
तो पोपट बन जाएंगे.
कुछ नहीं बनोगे आप.
Okay, give. Okay. You know, this whatever, Pradip, I mean, you see this whole creation. We are part of Kal and we are part of the true God. Good. Since we are part of the Kal, I mean, everything is magical. I mean, it is like a magic going on. The insects moving, the birds flying, the trees coming, and this whole creation. And then all this, the body itself. We are moving, talking, and then I mean, everything is so magical. We can just now, since we are part of that storyline, just be in gratitude, thankfulness, whatever is happening, and then move out, and then just complete the life and go wherever we have to go.
But why do you need gratitude and thankfulness? I don't have these two qualities.
I know. I'm saying that it is magical, so it is amazing. Everything is
It's magical, but imagine if this is magical, what would God's kingdom be? Because this one who is...
It will be another 1,000 times magic.
Let's say it's beyond our...
Yes, beyond our... Absolutely.
But it definitely would be better than this. Now, let me tell you about creation. There is creation of God. And there is creation of the king. What is the difference between the two? The creation of God happens through consciousness and through the will of God. When consciousness creates, its creations become eternal. Its creation doesn't need anything to sustain itself. Its creation is complete unto itself. Its creation doesn't have a dependency on other creations. But when the king creates, what is it that the king creates from? The king creates from the mind. And how does the king create? So if you read my book, the story says that the king wanted the building material for creation. And what was the building material for creation given to the king? 8 things, 3 qualities, 5 elements. Okay. But did God give king these things as real substance in order to create? No, God did not. God has the real substance. But God did not give the real things to the king. What is it then God gave to the king? What God gave to the king is known as the mental attributes of these real stuff. And how does the king create? The king creates from the mind. How does a king create from the mind? You have to now come back to your dream. And in your dream, how do you create the world that you create? And you create in an instant. Because you are creating it with your mind. Imagine the mind that encompasses the whole universe. A mind which has never been surpassed in its strength, in its creation, in everything. And so every creation that you see all around you is nothing but a dream in which they arise. Just as your dreams, everything arises, including you and the walls and the floor and the sky, in an instant. In the same way, in the dream of the king, everything arises in an instant. What you are witnessing is nothing but the dream of the king appearing to be real, appearing to be solid, appearing to be whole. But nothing is solid, nothing is whole, nothing is complete. Look into the dependency of one creation on another creation. In the creation of God, there is no dependency. Every creation is complete unto itself. And here, every creation is dependent on another creation. Because in this place of unreal, the king tries to copy God in every way and tries to recreate what God has created. But it cannot do what God has created. It only makes a poor copy of that creation. But to us it seems to be magical, mystical, because within the realm of our mind, this is the ultimate. It's almost like a frog living in the well, and you tell them the story of a sea, and the frog is like, how many jumps I have to take in order to cross the sea? Because I can cross the well in 2 or 3 jumps. And you're like, it's not about taking jumps. No, it must be 1,000, 10,000, how many jumps? Now you have a different, you cannot fit your knowledge within the vocabulary of the frog who just knows distance as the number of jumps. So this is the same problem that the humans have when we talk about a little more which is beyond their comprehension, beyond their world, beyond their mind.
So it is nothing like not known, known and unknown.
We can put it that way, but this unknown, up till where it goes, we have no idea.
But
So I was like in this only, I was in one of the things you said, you have seen the 7 worlds up, the 7 worlds down.
I did not say I have seen. I have the way to access them and talk with the inhabitants of those worlds.
Yeah, in that's what I meant. And you'd also told that you have spoken to these ghosts and spirits and everything. If you can just say a few lines on that, a few words. That means that 7, I mean, none of us know that there are 7 worlds above and 7 down. That also is a new thing.
As a part of my work with God, it's just that I needed to know many things. And so God gave me the access. Actually, before God came, God gave me the access of crossing dimensions. It's like if you have to go into your past life, you have to go through a regression. But I can go into a past life without a regression in an instant. Why? Because that was the gift given to me. You cannot connect with the deities. I can connect with the deities any moment I want. I can connect with the devil any moment I want. I can connect with the worst and the best. I can connect with the lowest and the highest. Why? Because that was a gift given to me that I can connect, I can talk, I can get information in a conscious way, not in an unconscious way, not in my dream, not in my sleep. So because of this gift, I connected also with entities, with ghosts, with extraterrestrials, with aliens, and many things I have connected. So many years you do so many things. But really, I never found them to be any interesting. I found them to be, maybe they were very intelligent, About that, I'm not talking. Maybe their technology is very superior. Maybe their way of processing information is very fast. But as beings, I found them to be very poor. And that's why I tell the gods that you worship, they are not worth worshipping. Because I have known them firsthand. Every god that you worship is not worth worshipping. They are horrible beings. Because the very one who is on the top is horrible.
So you say the mind is always in the control mechanism.
Everything is about control.
Yeah, and the consciousness is about allowing mechanism.
Consciousness doesn't care about control.
So if we can become in that non-controlling, if we can reach
That is what I tell people. If that is what you want to become, best is connect with God.
Yeah.
And be with God. And it's very simple. In the end, God says, just do this mantra for 2 minutes and done. Now be with your life.
Right.
God will keep on changing you, not like changing you. You see, one of the reasons that you are so controlling is because your karma is very thick. The karmic baggage is very heavy.
So in my case, Pradipji, I mean personal case, that's why this now I'm coming to understand that this controlling thing is dropped. I am with the mantra.
It's true, but how did it happen? It happened because when your karmic baggage drops, when it starts discharging itself, when it starts melting away, what does the karmic baggage create? Number one, it creates a lot of attachments and aversions. Number two, it creates a lot of wanting and desires. Number three, it creates a lot of righteousness and making others wrong. Now, as the karmic baggage starts disintegrating or discharging or any other name you want to give, you find that these are not the things that are dominant reality of your life. And somehow this is how you start observing you are no more the same, yet anyone looking at you will always say, I don't see any changes in your life. And if you say something is changing, tell me what has changed. Because nothing has changed.
So what is grace then? I mean, grace is descending now. If this is happening, right, you are dropping that raga, dvesha, and controlling, and this even the desires. They drop. They are dropping day by day by day. I can see it. So there's, he must be like this. She must be this. That is all gone. So you feel so free inside. I mean, absolutely.
So this is the freedom that God talks about. There are two kinds of freedom. The first is the clarity. Clarity of the world that you live in. Clarity about the deceptions that are controlling you. Clarity about the beings and the nature of those beings. That is the first thing. Clarity, the freedom of clarity. And then comes the freedom of life. And freedom of life is you can just be the way you are, and suddenly you are not unnecessarily bothered with the world around you. You are not trying to fix the world. You are not trying to change the world. You are not having any expectations from the world. And that itself has its own freedom.
So beautiful. That's what I'm experiencing. It's that's the difference. What I'm saying, that something is changed and nothing's changing. So I'm doing the same thing, but nothing is affecting me as it used to, because I know it's just a joke. It's just a play you play.
You see, whatever I say makes so much sense to you. But when a new person comes and asks me, milega kya? And I'm like, karke dekh lo. Because if I start talking all these things to you, you are like, lekin isme kaun si badi baat hai?
Right. Because we have heard it somewhere in some
because ये तो वो गुरु ने भी बोला था और वो महात्मा ने भी बोला था, वो संत ने भी बोला था, हमारे गीता में यही बातें लिखे हैं, हमारे शास्त्र में यही बातें हैं. I got it.
So that's why we asked them that, are you living it? Are you, no doubt it is written because it's a copy paste, as you say, from this thing. So are you living it? If you're living it, it's beautiful. It's end of the story.
Exactly. And you don't need.
Yeah, you don't need to be.
What if people don't believe in God? God says that you don't have to believe in God. imagine the image that has been given to you as a tool and use it as a tool. It's something like a screwdriver is given to you. You don't have to believe in it. And you don't have to know how it has been made. You don't have to know who made it. Use it.
Supposing my daughter, like if I'm telling my daughter, okay, you pray that you might get this, etc. My daughter says there's nothing like God. I don't believe in God as such. Or there is nothing like God which is existing. Then what do I tell her?
I would say your daughter is more authentic than you.
That is true. That I agree.
Because you are saying pray and you will get. And that's one thing that doesn't happen. If people got by praying, then this world would have been a very different world than the way it is.
So then why are we taught that? Why didn't the other people who were there going before us?
Because it was part of the deception of the religion to tell people that pray to God and God will deliver.
Okay. And if I don't want to come back into this life?
You are not going to come back.
But you said again and again I'll be taking...
But now you have seen me.
Oh, so if I've seen you, that means I'll not come back into
No, you won't.
So this life you enjoy. That's weird. That is what I'm saying. You enjoy this life instead of trying to hold.
Suffering.
See, the definition of God, what we carry, is something else than what you say. What, according to me, what I have my understanding as of now is, we say Ram, Krishna, Jesus. This we think are God. But according to you, these are not gods. They are kings, creator, the creations and their sons maybe.
Yes.
But the God what you talk is different than what we perceive. So what he says is, you connect to that God directly. So then there is no question of getting into this group.
Yeah. Even if you don't connect, this is your last life.
But I'm attached to my children, right? So I want them to have the same beautiful life.
You see, when you are with God, and you added one more rider, that you want them to have... So one part is attachment and the other part is your wanting. That they must have a life free, if not beautiful, at least free from pain. Right? But the whole problem is your son is on his own journey. Your children are on their own journey. Who are you going to decide? How are you going to decide how their life will be? At the most, you can make them probably learn it by sending them to the best of the schools and colleges if they can go through. At the most, you can earn a lot of money and leave it for them so that they can enjoy the luxuries of life. But how do you know in the end all this will be with them to serve them? People who are rich, they are also miserable. People who are very learned, they are also miserable. How can you ensure that your children are going to have the best of life?
But right now, at present, if I'm not able to see her in that pain or the suffering that she's going through, then what do I do?
You release on that. You see, my son has been a total failure in his life.
You're talking about your son?
My son.
Okay.
That doesn't give me any pain. Why? Because the first pain I had to release is I failed as a father. Now I tell people that I am an utter failure as a human. I have failed as a husband, I have failed as a father, I have failed as the son of my parents, I have failed as a brother, I have failed as in many other ways. So I have a big list of failure in my life and a very small list of success in my life, which means that created a whole list of pain in me, where I saw others were much better off than me, they performing much better than me and delivering much more than me. So at some point of time, as I kept on releasing, as I kept on talking about this to God, I became free from all pain in my life. Because pain is not really about what my son became or could not become. The pain was put in me and connected with my son's failure. It did not come from my son. It did not come from within me, looking at my son. It came from outside of me and it was connected to my son, making me believe that I am in pain because my son is a failure. But that is not true. That is the hypnosis I was in. Today I know my pain has nothing to do with my son. It has to do everything with me, and I can release it. And it has got nothing to do with whether he is successful or failure. And on what scale am I really evaluating him being successful or a failure? Just because he is alive, that itself shows he is not a failure. He is doing something to be alive. And it may not be within my expectations. So just because it is not within my expectations, I say he is a failure. But yeah, from a society perspective, he is a failure.
If I know that what my daughter has taken some step, okay, and it's to follow the truth, and because of that she is suffering, then how do I bring her out of it?
You don't bring her out. You just ask her, what did you learn from the step that you took? And is this lesson something that you value? Which means it taught you something. And maybe your daughter will say that she has no regret. Like my son has no regret.
Yeah, even she says that.
And if she has no regret, why do you have pain then?
Because I can't see her, because I'm seeing that she's through that pain.
Yeah, I understand. As a human, I see the humanity in pain. And for me, how is my son more dear to me than the other humans? It is because of the hypnosis. The hypnosis tells that this individual is me, an extension of me, mine. And that is where you are cursing yourself for everything happening to that body-mind organism.
Yeah, but whatever she did it for me. That's why I feel...
Irrespective of that. Yet it was her choice to do.
How?
And in that choice, whatever she did, let her learn a lesson. I always tell my son, learn a lesson and move ahead.
My other daughter feels that I was the one who forced her into taking that action.
These are all the drama of life. But you can go beyond the drama and release your pain. Your pain is real. And I just say, release it. It's possible to release. Just talk to God about all your pain because of the drama that happened. And then eventually, at some point, you will become free.
So you're saying I should talk to this book?
Talk to the image.
And then see if magic happens.
He says you take the mantra or talk the image or read the book or talk that or talk the card. There are 4 options he has given. But anyway, now let me ask my questions, which I... Now, what about this 7 births you took over this 22,000 years to come in this 2,000 years back? It started your journey. 7 births it took to rebirths to come and all. Then in those 7 births, you also went through the karmic cycle, all this. And you were this and this and this and this and this. I'm asking you, that did it happen like for you also like that?
So that is the question.
Yeah, the question. And then why 2,000 years? Why not 800 years before or 1,200 or 1,500? It took 2,000 years for you to come.
You see, whatever you consider to be the human passage of time is not the same passage in the realm where the planning happens. That's number 1. Number 2, my journey as a human did not start 2,000 years ago. It started 600 years ago. At the same time that Kabir was. So that was when I took my first birth. The third thing is this soul had to go through different star systems of this universe. So after it left 2,000 years, it went through many other star systems it created bodies there, it experienced many things, and the incarnation, the last incarnation before my first human birth was I was a Syrian, which was I was from the Sirius star system.
What is serial?
Syrian is a star system. It's a constellation in which I was a Syrian. The people who live there are known as Syrian.
Okay. Human, but human being.
No, they're not human. They are kind of aliens.
But you
They're
said,
much taller than us.
but you said that once you are human, you'll go on.
But I said the last incarnation in the world outside, it's the human journey. Before my human journey began, I was a Syrian.
Okay.
And then my first human journey began, and then this is the seventh one. And none of them were anything which was outstanding. But one thing was very outstanding was the amount of pain and suffering that I went through, the worst of the worst, in order to understand what is the world that I am going to work in when God comes to me. So my sadhana was only about suffering and pain. It was not about evolving spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. And then you also said that about the planets. Actually, the planets, we say planets are moving and all these things, And you say that doesn't, it is all, this is also a illusion.
Yeah. So God told me that...
which goes exactly opposite the science.
True. Because whatever science is nothing but a part of the hypnosis which is exploring the laws of the universe. But God says all the laws of the universe, like say gravity, like electromagnetism, or any other law that there are, thermodynamics, and these are the laws in our third dimension. In the other dimensions, there are different laws. So every law that exists in every dimension is created in the mind of the king and in the dream of the king, and they appear so real that the scientific world finds them fascinating, and they are like, how do I use these laws for my comfort, for my power, for playing the control game, for playing the game of luxury, for playing the game of lavishness, and to explore other universes or planets.
The law of vibration, the law of resonance, the law of...
As the king wants us to play that game. And because it wants us to play that game, it creates a certain repeatability factor, which means
small percentage. So that
percentage within the hypnosis of the individuals, so that the individual believes. It's something like we heat the water starts boiling at 100 degrees centigrade. It's a law. But king wants us to believe that. And because king wants us to believe that, it shows up as real for every human. And there are many things that kings wants only a few individuals to believe, that they become subjective reality. So we have objective reality, we have subjective reality. In the objective reality, everything shows up as having a commonality. Now we call that as scientific things. In the subjective reality, there is no commonality, and so science doesn't give them any credibility.
Right.
Yet, both are created from the hypnosis, both are real to the one who are experiencing it. It's just that subjective means it doesn't fall in the realm of common people. Objective means everybody is experiencing the same thing. Now from that place, now God says, these are small things. Now let's extend it to the universe. Now God says, I gave the king 21 universe. What did he do with it? Did he really? He actually created God gave the universe as just objects. Not moving, not rotating, not having any heat, not having any light, not having any trajectory. It left to the king, you do whatever you want to do with these objects. But did the king really do anything to the objects? No. king created the hypnosis of the objects having certain attributes, the attributes of rotation, attributes of spinning on an axis, attributes of heat, attributes of light, attributes of showing up, attributes of going into a black hole,
And Big Bang.
Big Bang, and everything the king is creating in order to create the illusion of objective reality. And this is what we call as the science. And that is why science will not agree to it. But God says this is just a part of the gossip I gave you. God doesn't give us much gossip.
No, it's like how we see the video games. I mean, 100 years back, we could not even believe, but now we see virtual reality, and this is happening more and more. AI, and then you said something ASI, and then ASS, and soon
Right now, you see the difference.
GI or something like that.
The first thing I tell people that I'm not basically a computer guy, IT guy, technical guy. I'm a BCom. But I just tell people that because I'm fascinated with reality. Okay? And so I look reality in different ways. There's a reality I'm creating in my dream. Very solid. As real as right now, the way I'm experiencing you. There's a reality I'm creating in my world, this waking world,
Right.
which seems to be real, but God says it is still a hypnosis. Now, if I examine the reality I'm creating in my dream and the reality I'm creating in the waking state, there's only one difference. And that one difference is every time I go into my dream, I cannot create a continuity.
Right.
The dream starts from some other place. But every time I wake up from my sleep, I have a continuity to this reality. And because this reality has a continuity, so I say this is real. And because that reality doesn't have a continuity, I say that is a dream. That is fake.
Right.
If someday the king makes that reality also a continuity, now I will be confused. Where am I actually living?
Yeah.
This one or that one? And that confusion can drive me into insanity. And that's why the king says, if you become insane, who will prepare my food?
So that's Lao Tzu's famous statement. Am I dreaming I'm a butterfly, or the butterfly dreaming that I am
True.
that butterfly here in this? So that it's a...
It's exactly like that. And you talked about the virtual reality. And yet the day is coming when the virtual reality will be much more real
than
this reality, because they are going to bring in, it's all a game of pixels. They are now going to bring the pixels so closer that it will create a reflection. Image is nothing but a reflection, which our brain will process as to be much more vibrant than the world that we are currently living in. And what will cause all these things to happen? That is where the AI comes in. Now about AI, most people assume AI, they do not yet have the distinction between automation and artificial intelligence. Automation is something like, let's say you have a car, you can make it automatic. You can make it self-driving. That is not AI. The difference between automation and AI is you are giving freedom to the software to evolve beyond your coding.
Oh.
In automation, you are not giving that software any freedom to evolve beyond your coding. Now, this is the one fundamental distinction. And that is why currently, whatever we call this ChatGPT, the bots or everything, they are AI, because we call them machine learning, we call them other terminology. They are learning.
And
They're
they are
not-
also evolving on its own.
They are evolving on its own. That's why it is AI. Now, right now, the evolution is very rudimentary, with not really much. But with the AGI coming in, artificial general intelligence, it will be able to evolve much faster. And the day artificial super intelligence comes in, ASI, that day the humans will become the slaves of the AI.
But we will not be there only like it.
Of course, we will not be there, but that is a future projection of AI.
Okay.
And
But
that's
then this whole universe will run without any human beings. Or those other type of human.
after we die, after God goes, we do not know what the king is going to become of this universe. Because in my last meeting yesterday, someone dragged out certain informations from me, and I told them that, listen, there are three kind of humans living on this planet. The first kind is known as the souled beings. The second one is known as the non-souled beings. Now, non-souled beings means they are now having a group souls which has sourced them. Souled beings means every individual has their own soul. But there is a third group of human that has started coming into this planet for quite some time, maybe after the Second World War or maybe after the First World War. They come from the second lower world. And they are the ones who are bringing in technology. They are the ones who are bringing in science. And these are the aliens. They are not sourced by any souls.
So this artificial intelligence may be a part of their.
They are the ones who are bringing in this artificial intelligence. They are the ones who brought in all the coding. They are the ones who brought in all the computers. They are the ones who brought in all the technology. And that is why in last 100 years progress, it did not happen for last 100, 200, 300, 400, whatever you want to go.
So when you say the second, this has come from the second world, which is now said.
Second lower world.
Second lower, that means there are seven. So this
7 lower worlds.
So, I mean, how you can say that it's second on the earth?
Because I can access the. The king is allowed, because what is happening, the souls are now going to leave, and king still needs the humans. So now king is going to create the robotic humans. So that journey has started. And very interesting thing, these ones who are the aliens, they are the most successful people on this planet. They are the top politicians. They are the top businessmen. They are the top scientists. They are also the top musicians. They are the top architects. They are the top of everything, because their knowledge is not just science and technology. They are basically brilliant creators. They are also someone who are very authoritative. They are also someone who knows how to control people. And those who are souled beings, they are all mostly in the lower strata of life. Most of the beggars you will find are souled beings. So they go through high kind of what we call as suffering and pain, and which is how they are creating food for the king. Those who are on the aliens, they don't have much suffering in their life. They are like automates.
So they too have this astral body and energy body.
They too have the astral body,
Yeah.
energy body, and this repeating. So, right.
They don't have any energy body. They have spirit. All their bodies which appear to be energetic are given by the king, not by God.
So how do you identify them?
You cannot.
So how did it all start, Pradip? This whole, the first point of starting, that Adam and Eve in that Bible, they say our scriptures say something as Manu was the first human being.
Yeah, we have a narrative. God gave a different narrative, and the narrative that God gave was also given by Kabir 600 years back, that it all started when one son of God went against his own father, and up to a point father tolerated it. It also happened when other sons of God got attracted to that son.
But that first original Paramatma, he could have said, I don't want to start this only process.
I don't want to
Start this process.
This process
Of this son. That was his question.
Why was that son created in the first place?
Son created or son went against that first.
But God doesn't control anyone.
He allowed it.
He's in allowing. And so this son did everything.
And then all that story started.
And then the whole story
So
started.
this maybe is in 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 years back. Before 10,000 years,
No. It's a long way back.
more than 10,000.
Because in between, many creations have happened and they went out of creation, which means multiple times the king has died and been born.
So more than 10,000. 10,000.
Do not bring in that thing called 10,000 years because time is an illusion. For them, whatever the scale, let's say our 10,000 years is their 10 days.
Huh.
So, comparing it like how old this must be, it may not be old in their perception. It may be it was just yesterday or day before yesterday. So it's a different game. Their world is different, our world is different. And we cannot take the scales of our measurement scales of our world to try to scale their world.
But if the king has died and he has been born again he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, because it is the curse continues. That is why king keeps on doing the same thing. But of course, every time he makes different creations, it's not the same creation that happens.
About your son. So I presume you're seeing your son as a human. Is it because he didn't relate to you? You're seeing him as a human.
He didn't relate to me. That is why I'm seeing him as human.
And not as God or king. No, I'm talking about your son. You spoke about your son, right?
I said my son is a failure within the parameters of the society.
Okay, I thought your actual son.
Yeah, my actual son.
So see your son, biological son. So you're seeing him as a human, not as a king or a god.
This is going up in the internet. And my son, if he looks at daddy, what are you doing?
Sorry if it's
No, but you can continue.
so. Since you're seeing him as a human and not as king or god, is it because he doesn't relate or?
But why would I see him as king and god?
I'm not asking you. Why did you not see him as king or god? But
Because he is not. He is only a human. I'm trying to understand your question. Maybe you're not languaging it.
could be. But so my point is, why don't you see him as a king or god?
Because he is not.
So why he's not?
Because you are not.
Okay.
One of my friend has asked me this question to be asked to you, that she's having a Tom and Jerry relationship with her daughter, and like all the time fighting going between her and she. So she said, I mean, just find out like why this is happening, why this suffering of so many years we are going through with each other. Like my daughter is and me, both of her are just every day fighting for something, and there's probably somebody seeing outside will find there's no meaning, but there is no logic, but we still continue to do that thing.
First thing, this is the storyline that you will keep on fighting with each other. Second thing, you both are trying to be right. That is why you are fighting with each other. Third thing, you both are trying to change the other one. That is why you are fighting with each other. Fourth thing, you are enjoying the drama because that drama also brings up what we call as the dopamine effect, and that makes you come alive, and that is why you are fighting with yourself. The next thing is you don't have anything more interesting to do in life. That is why you both are fighting with yourself. If you had anything more interesting to do, you wouldn't waste your energy in these things.
Wonderful.
So what is the end, Pradip? What is the end?
One day both will die.
No, not this. End of all this.
Oh, you're talking about all this creation? There is no going to be end. It is just that once the soul lives, the souled beings will not be here much on this planet. It is the aliens who will come up. They will take on. Maybe they will have all kind of space flights, because by that time that technology they will bring in. And technology already exists. Whatever the technology the aliens have, we are going to have those technologies. We will travel from one planet to another, one star system to another star.
But we will not be existing, no? In terms of
Of course,
soul.
will not be.
So all this is like, it will be just like the virtual world becoming all the real world.
Exactly.
And it is just like cosmic play going on.
There's a cosmic play unless a king gets bored and then he will make it interesting in different ways. King
Like this, all these, what is it, asteroids going and the satellites, everything will be like that only. More or less it can.
It will become more technological. It will become less emotionally.
This emotion thing will go.
Emotional quotient will go away. One of the things that distinguishes a human from the extraterrestrials is they don't have emotions.
Right.
They have a brilliant mind, but the emotional factor is missing, and that is why they were actually sucking the humans, abducting the humans, and putting us through all kind of tortures in order to experiment why these people have fear, why these people have anger, why these people have all kind of emotional outbursts, why they cry. They wanted to figure out what this game is. What they couldn't understand was a part of this thing was also put into us by the Supreme Being.
And if emotions is not there, we as normal people, we will say that emotions are not there, then what's the use of life? Emotion makes it different. Of course, that emotions, that anger and all is not nice, but the happiness and all is so beautiful to
But
experience.
most of us don't have the happiness.
99% fall into that category. Yes. More than that also.
And you will also find people who are less emotional, they are more productive in life. They deliver more. The corporate world, if you want to succeed, emotions will become a hindrance.
Right.
I've been connecting with the book for last few months, Pradip ji. But sometimes the answer which comes brings lot of turmoil. That's what we were discussing downstairs also. How to accept those answers. They ask for
Why answers?
No, when I connect with the book and I use the mantra, the answers or the guidance which comes brings lot of turmoil. And ask for some, you have to just move out of your comfort zone. Sometimes I resist a lot, and currently I'm resisting some answer lot. So
One thing I know, that God doesn't allow you to be in your comfort zone. So I had my own challenges.
Yeah. Every time. That is.
it becomes very fearful also. Like
It's almost the way I deal with it is I remind myself that I said I will do the work of God, I will follow the will of God, and maybe there will be consequences, and I'm not saying there are not consequences, but I go ahead, and when the consequences show up in life, I silently observe them, and they come up. They create their own drama, they create their own turmoil, and then I see them subsiding. But if I don't follow the will of God, I create the turmoil within me. When I follow the will of God, the turmoil shows up outside of me. Either way, there is going to be a turmoil, so I prefer the turmoil outside of me rather than within me.
okay.
That means without that emotions going up and down, it will go on, but inside you are.
That needs stepping out of your comfort zone.
And you will always thank yourself every time you move out of your comfort zone, even though at that point of time when you're moving out, it could be almost like heartbreaking or maybe physically too much demanding or emotionally very challenging, whatever it is. Right? Right. Thank you. I didn't go into that. Whatever she said, I responded to that. Okay.
कल मैं आया था आपके घाटकोपर में, तो अब
जी।
मंदिर के बारे में कुछ बात हो रहा था। तो वो किंग है, सबको उलझाए रखते हैं, उसे मंदिर नहीं जाना और लाइक दैट कुछ मैंने।
किंग कहाँ बोलते हैं मंदिर नहीं जाना? किंग तो बोलते हैं मंदिर जाना।
किंग जाना बोले मंदिर जाना, इधर अपने वो हमको उलझाए रखने के लिए सब करते हैं। तो हमारा जो अपब्रिंगिंग है टोटल मंदिर और ये सब है, संस्कार है। कभी मंदिर तो जगह जगह है, इतने सारे मंदिर बन रहे, तो मंदिर में नहीं जाना और उसको कैसे, मतलब वो एकदम दिमाग में ही नहीं जम रहा, किस ढंग से उसको कर सकते हैं और उससे क्या फ़ायदा है?
परमात्मा के पास जाके फायदा तो कुछ भी नहीं है।
फायदा मीन्स हमारे जो अंदर उसके बारे में बहुत से बिलीव्स बने हुए कुछ भी है तो उसको क्या करें आप?
हाँ, देखिए आपके पास
इधर भी आते हैं
पहले
सुनने मनोज जी का कुछ भी है, ये हमारे गुरु है हमारे, तो अभी हम क्या करें उसके लिए आगे?
वो आप बोलते गुरु, मैं नहीं मानता हूँ।
मैं तो मानता हूँ, लेकिन आपका पहले सवाल में आता है, दूसरा दूसरा तो आपका कमेंट था, सवाल नहीं था।
कमेंट नहीं था, मतलब कंफ्यूज।
ओके ओके। परमात्मा दरअसल आपको एक समझ देते हैं कि इसने मंदिर को इसलिए बनाया, मस्जिद को, गुरुद्वारे को इसलिए बनाया कि वो इंसान इसमें इतना उलझा रहे कि जब परमात्मा उसके पास आएगा तो वो यही कहेगा कि भगवान तो मेरे पास है, वो मेरे मंदिर में है, तुम्हारा मंदिर किधर है? अच्छा चलो तुम परमात्मा हुए तो हम तो हमारी हर मन्नत लेके उनके पास जाते हैं, तो हम हमारी मन्नत लेके आपके पास आएंगे, क्या आप हमारी मनोकामना पूरा करोगे? तो परमात्मा यही बोलेंगे कि हम नहीं करेंगे। फिर आप यही बोलोगे, फिर हम क्यों आपके पास आए? तो परमात्मा कहते हैं मत आओ, क्योंकि जब आप एक पल के लिए परमात्मा से बात भी करोगे ना तो परमात्मा का काम खत्म हो जाएगा। परमात्मा को किस चीज़ में इंटरेस्ट है? दो ही चीज़ में, आपका कर्म खत्म हो जाना चाहिए और दूसरा, सॉरी, ये आपका आखिरी जन्म होना चाहिए, और दूसरा आपका जो आत्मा है वो उनके पास वापस जाना चाहिए। तो जब आपने एक पल परमात्मा को देख लिया, परमात्मा का काम खत्म हो गया। फिर परमात्मा यही बोलता है, अच्छा ऐसा है, आपको बहुत मनोकामना पूरा करना है, तो फिर आप भगवान के पास रहो। तो ये समझ पा रहे हो जो मैं इशारा कर रहा हूँ जिस चीज का?
उलझे हुए रहो।
दोनों उलझे हुए रहो। परमात्मा को कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उनको खाली आपका एक पल चाहिए। और जब तक आप अपने डाउट्स को परमात्मा के पास रखते हो तब तक तो परमात्मा आपका उनका काम खत्म कर लेते हैं। अब परमात्मा को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता आप उनके पास आए या नहीं आए। थोड़ा क्लैरिटी आ रहा है? थोड़ा सा आ रहा है ना?
सो मुझे ये पूरे कॉन्वर्सेशन से ये मतलब आई एम जस्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग समथिंग लाइक पहले जो था एक पीरियड जहाँ पे आई कैन जस्ट रिलेट वन स्टोरी, दैट इज दुर्गा एंड रामकृष्ण। सो दुर्गा को पाने के लिए हिज गुरु से इसकी यू कट हर एंड देन यू विल अटेन हर, ऐसा जो एक स्टोरी लाइन था।
जी।
So now at this point of time, I I don't know why, but I just feel this, that now as we follow Guru, okay, so now is it like, and his soul, he's also in a soul body, as you said that in 2015 you started this work with God.
Yes.
So I feel our Guru passed on in 2016. Acha. So I just feel that is it a message for us that this Guru Parampara which is going on, so it's a message from your side that cut down this trickage and move forward, like how it happened with Ramakrishna, with Durga.
I'm not giving any such message, okay?
You're not giving this message.
Number one. Number two, everything, I'm only telling you what God told me to say to the humans. What humans will do with that information is for every human to decide. I will not tell you how to live. I'll not tell you what to do. These two things I am not going to tell you. So do not ask me about what you should do now.
I'm not asking you about that. It
No,
was just that
Because you asked me like that am I telling you to let go of the Guru Parampara? I am not telling you any such thing.
yeah, it's not about that, but is it like Guru? This terminology can also be, we can get detached from. This is a message.
Then let me tell you, Guru is still in the human form. Let me tell you that even Shiva has failed. And if Shiva has failed, how can a Guru succeed? Because Shiva got deceived by the deception of the king. And if Shiva was deceived, every guru has been deceived. I tell people, I do not talk about our current gurus because they are contemporary and they are beautiful individuals. They are beautiful human beings. I do not talk about them. I talk about a guru who came, let's say, 2000 or 3000, whatever times back, 2500. And this one, what was his own journey? He went to every guru. At that point, I'm talking about Gautam Buddha. He went to every guru that there was. And he did every spiritual practice that was humanly possible to do. And for many years, till one point of time, he became so weak that he couldn't cross a stream which any human was easily crossing. And whatever little strength he had while he was crossing the stream, even that left his body and he fell down unconscious. Someone came and gave him milk or whatever that was given, and it is said he regained his consciousness and he went and sat near a tree. And what did he then decide? He said, I came to know or become free from my suffering, from my pain. And I have not become that. So I sit here under this tree, and now either I am going to become free or I am going to die. With that intention, he sat down. And it said he sat and sat and sat, and then one day he became free. Now, up to here is interesting, but it becomes more interesting now. Because this guy thought that I now know how to make others free. And that is where he became inauthentic. Because he didn't know. What did he teach to other people? He taught them meditation. But this guy was meditating. Now Buddha is cutting me down. So how did Buddha become inauthentic? Because he felt he knew how to become what he became. So this guy sat under a tree and he got a both. Both means realization. And from that both, he became a Buddha, the one who is realized. And the tree became known as the Bodhi tree, as if the tree allowed him to become realized. And people go and sit under that tree, hoping that they will also one day become Buddha. But that is the story of the tree. But this gentleman, after he became enlightened, he started telling people, I will show you the way to become enlightened. What did he say? Do meditation. What did he say? Live in the right way. So right action, that eightfold path, all the right things. But did Buddha really become enlightened like that by doing all those things? It was out of utter frustration when he gave up and he was willing to die. And he just sat there waiting for death to come. That death did not show up. And what showed up was the realization that now you are free. But he did not have the intelligence to understand that I did not become free because of what I did. I became free in spite of what I did. That intelligence was lacking. Why was it lacking? For the simple reason that he was hypnotized into believing that he became free because of what he did. And he started teaching people that you do these things and you will also become free like me. You will become a realized being like me. This is where he became inauthentic. So I just tell you about the gurus.
फिर कृष्णा है, ये सब छोटे मतलब 4 नंबर पे आते हैं. अपने अल्लाह है वो 3 नंबर पे आ जाते हैं, 2 नंबर पे आते हैं. ऐसा क्यों? मतलब आई एम वंडरिंग कि वो कृष्णा हिंदू, आई फील वेरी ऑफेंडेड. मेरे को बोला यार कैसा इंसान है, वो अल्लाह को ऊपर रख दिया, नीचे आपको रख दिया, ये गलत है. हम पहले आए थे महादेव के.
Then I tell you the story of the religion. You have heard the story of the religion?
I heard Sanatan के बाद में Jewish के बाद में
Yeah. So that is the story.
Christianity के बाद में Islam.
The purpose of this story was to tell humanity that what you have been given is not really all that great. It is a way of deceiving you. And what the Hindus think is the ultimate thing. They believe that their religion and their scriptures are much better than all the Abrahamic scriptures. They don't know where that the king feels that creating the Sanatan Dharma, king failed. And king wanted to succeed, but what was king's mission? Was it really to give them the wonderful knowledge about religion and spirituality? That king was not interested in. He was interested in only one thing. Humans must not go to God when God comes to the humans. And that is why he kept on improvising his experiment till he came to the last one called the Islam, which he found was very perfect and it would fulfill his mission of people not going to God. That is the story of religion.
Beautiful. I think that's acknowledge and give a big clap for the beautiful understanding to whatever you understood. Kusum. So now we just have one line from all of you in your own whatever you received as an insight or a foresight or a epiphany. If at all it happened, I'll just pass the mic. And if you want to say one line only, Mahendra, एक line. If you want to say, otherwise pass the mic on. That's how we generally end. So I'll pass the mic from here. Yeah. Anything one line, okay?
So बहुत ही कन्वर्जेशन अच्छा रहा और बिल्कुल डिफरेंट था. कभी सोचा नहीं वो चीज़ें आज समझ.
Beautiful. Yeah, in your own way, you can thank in that way, one line.
Thank you. आपने concept दिया रखा, मैं रख भी सकता हूँ, ले भी सकता.
Thank you.
Okay.
बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग है और बहुत ही मतलब इट्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड मेक्स मी थिंक एंड लाफ एंड एंजॉय.
Good. Yeah.
सो प्रदीप जी थैंक यू. मुझे इतना तो पता चला ये मेरी लास्ट लाइफ है. अब मैं आज से कुछ भी कहेगी. It just make the way I want to.
Yeah.
Please.
पीछे से आवाज आ रहा है. Face the consequence. Yeah.
Blessed be you.
Let's be
Thank you.
wonderful.
Yeah. So the same experience. मुझे I am feeling different freedom inside me after hearing you and जैसे मैंने आज हम जब मिले थे तो शुरुआत भी वैसी हुई थी कि अगर जान भी लूँ सब कुछ तो भी क्या कर लूँगा. So that laugh and smile came to me and yeah, just enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
When I was listening to those audios of yours for last couple of days, आने के पहले मैं थोड़ा homework करके आया था. ऐसा नहीं था कि सीधा आके बैठ गया था. So every time I was listening, there was
Realization, one word, one must.
There's a freedom in what you're talking. Okay, there is a bonding that I was going through, and there is a freedom in what I.
Okay.
So my understanding is कर्मा है पर कोई कर्मा नहीं है. I think ये बहुत deep contemplate करने के लिए. And after you answered my question, प्रदीप जी, मुझे पता नहीं क्यों ऐसे लग रहा है inside the turmoil has stopped. Instantly मुझे लगा अभी बाहर क्या show up होता है वो तितना बात. Thanks.
Thank
Okay.
Just flow with it is what I got from you and enjoy.
Yes.
That's
Yes. Now I can take my decisions and not worry about it. Okay.
Yeah. I got from you that humanities would be free from pains and sufferings, and it includes me.
Okay.
My takeaway is live the story as it comes.
Yes.
So I will say thank you for allowing. That's all.
Okay. Thank.
That is also true. I believe that.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I got many question ka answers, but from the answer again, I'm getting a question. Yeah, I know this is the last life. Everyone's happy about it, but as it is, I'm going to die. Yeah, I'm not going to remember whether it was my last life.
Yes.
So what I learned is just be flow with the flow. That's it.
Yes.
Any which ways, this is the last word.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you so much, Pradeep ji. So, before coming here, I was having certain expectations from myself, which I, to an extent, was holding on. When you gave your own example of how you were able to release about your son. So then, hearing that itself, I was able to let go and just be and just enjoy myself just the way it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a beautiful experience. I've been doing this since maybe 6 months and all. And I did see a lot of miracles happening in my life. Just understood one thing, that simply enjoy the moment. Very
Okay.
You're getting my suppressed emotion out and I'm free now.
Oh, so nice. Okay.
गॉड के साथ रह के एक ही लाइन मुझे बार बार आती है, वो ये है जिंदगी के साथ भी और जिंदगी के बाद की.
You cannot just say about one line, yeah, all up.
will change, but something will change.
That's what it is, Christians. For me, I love you. That's all.
Okay. I always, I don't know what connects me to God, but Pradeep ji, there is something which I think my mind and my body and character cannot understand for sure. And that's why when I keep asking what is connecting me, I think my mind doesn't know. But it's very beautiful. Something is unexplainable. And that's why I just, every day I find some opportunity to connect with you, either through video or through hearing cards. It's beautiful, but no words. Okay, thank you.
So I share the same experience. Either whether you know it or no, I am your assistant.
Okay.
But I continue with Manojji doing whatever I am doing. Huh?
Yes.
Because there's no meaning to anything. Whether I do this or that, I just do whatever. That's it.
Yes.
So I think I would just like to thank God for connecting with me every day. There are a lot of moments where I'm seriously down, and when I release, I get some grace. So it's no things.
Thank you.
So I live my life as it comes. Today my storyline पता चली कि I am confused attending this session and I am very much clear attending this.
There's karma and no karma.
And most relief is about my daughter's worry. I am worried about them, but I am very much now relieved.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
और जस्ट एक चीज़ रिसेंटली आपसे काफ़ी बार सुनने को आई, तो जब भी कभी भी सेल्फ इम्पोर्टेंस थोड़ा ऊपर आता है या फिर किसी और के ऊपर गुस्सा आता है, तो ये आपकी एक ही लाइन आती है, मेरी कुछ औकात नहीं है और इसकी भी कुछ औकात है.
Time is कर. Eta.
Thank you. Grace is just doing really great.
Okay. I would like to share one more. So whenever it is always happening, when I have some thoughts which are not lifting me, and I did all, the mantra and the book and all, and I got the storyline. I understood it. Today, just sitting over here, my God, it's at a whole different level of what this.
My God,
line.
God is my boy.
Something very profound. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Pradeep, this has been, I don't know how long it is, but just a sharing that the moment I connected to God, way back, I don't remember, and there was Bodhisattva, I was unknown any goddess. And then after introducing to spirituality, I came to know about Vishnu and this and Krishna and everything. And I'm like, this is not that. This is exactly is not that. I searched out to all these books, that books, this even what you were Islamic and Christian.
One line.
Yeah, just completely sharing. So this was very, very clear to me that this is not there. And what use and what Manojji shared, connection, that is always there. There was no point that connection is not there. So my today's realization as of moment, I'm always connected. It is me, the illusion comes to me that I am not connected. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, Vinay, you are making this such a good recording. आपका एक line बताओ. So, thank you, thank you, thank you.